Hi, boys and girls. This week we have been learning about the Diamante poem. In this type of poem, it forms a diamond shape using 7 lines and different parts of speech. If you remember from Monday's video, this type of poem uses adjectives, nouns, and verbs to describe and write about 2 different topics. These topics can be synonyms together, which means that they are related topics, or they can be antonyms, which means that they are the complete opposite. If you remember, our Diamante poem follows a very specific structure, with starting with 1 topic, the noun, 2 describing adjectives about that noun, 3 verbs with the ing suffix, again about that first subject. And then when we get towards the middle of the diamond, it starts to transition into our second subject. Then we kind of go backwards. We have 3 verbs again with the ing suffix, 2 adjectives describing our second subject, and a noun again. Now when we're talking about these 2 topics, it's first easiest to start with what our topics are going to be. You can think about a lot of different topics that either go together or are the complete opposite. So in some of the poems that we analyzed on Monday, we discussed and talked about things like superheroes and villains. These 2 things come to mind together, even though that they are complete opposites in what we think about. Something like the sun and the moon. Something that goes completely together, like peanut butter and jelly. We also saw an example like pumpkin and squash. This is actually the same vegetable with 2 different names. So when we're thinking about something that we want to write about, we can think of it 2 different ways. We can think of 2 words that we know really go together, or we can think of 1 topic but 2 different ways to say it. I wanted to write today about something that we all know about. So I chose to focus my attention on a character that we all know, or a book. So I started thinking about Number the Stars. In Number the Stars, we have a lot of different characters. So I started thinking, maybe I want to write about Kirsty. And I know that another word I can use for Kirsty is sister. So Kirsty and sister can be my topics. Or maybe I want to transition from Mama to Uncle Henrik. So I decided these are the 2 topics that I'm going to choose. Now, Mama and Uncle Henrik are 2 different people. But they do have enough in common, since they're from the same book and the same family, that I can transition easily between them. There are a lot of different ways that you can be brainstorming and planning for your Diamante poem. I'm going to show you one way today, and on Friday I will show you another example of how I would plan. Now, keeping in mind all of the parts of speech of my Diamante poem, I listed Mama and Uncle Henrik. I also listed adjectives, verbs, and nouns for each. I split my planning page up in this way because I know these are the types of words that I'm going to have to write in my poem. Let me start with Mama. I'm thinking of different adjectives or describing words that I can use to describe Mama. I know that she is very brave, I remember she was very clean because she always joked about Uncle Henrik's house not being clean. I know that she was very caring and loving. Some verbs about her, some things that she was doing in the story. Because remember, these verbs have to have an ing suffix at the end of them. She was always helping in this story. She was helping Anne-Marie. She was helping the Rosens. She was helping Uncle Henrik. Since I said that she was a clean person, maybe she was cleaning. I know that sometimes she was cooking, and she was cooking for Ellen when she came to stay with them. I know that sometimes she was hiding people, like hiding Ellen. And let me think of some nouns. Some other person, place, or thing type of word that I can describe her. Like mother, wife, sister to Uncle Henrik. Now that I have my list, my brainstormed list of adjectives, verbs, and nouns for Mama, I'm going to move on to Uncle Henrik. I'm switching colors so that you can see and so that I can keep myself organized, since I'm going to have to switch and transition in my poem. Some adjectives to describe Uncle Henrik. I know that he's kind of sloppy, and he's a little rough. I might call him or describe him as maybe a little lonely. He does live alone. Some verbs to describe things that he does with that ing suffix. He's fishing, because he's a fisherman. He's also hiding people. And he's the one that's leaving in the story to take people away. When I think of some things to describe him in other words and other nouns, I could think of him as a fisherman, a farmer, because I know he was milking the cows, a sailor, a brother, so now I have a lot of creative and vibrant words that have adjectives, verbs, and nouns that I can use in my Diamante poem. I'm going to think about the structure of my poem. I'm going to think about my 2 topics. And I'm going to think about all of my brainstormed words as I now start to write my poem. I'm going to write my poem with 2 different colors so that you can see how I transition between topic 1 and topic 2. You can choose to do this to make it a little easier for yourself to keep yourself organized, or just to make your poem look a little different. All right, so let's get started with Mama. Mama is my noun, my first topic. So I'm going to start her in red. Mama. Now I need to choose 2 adjectives to describe Mama. I'm going to choose clean and brave. The reason that I don't really want to choose caring or loving is because I'm going to use those ing suffixes in my verbs, and I don't want to become repetitive when I'm writing. Now I'm getting to my 3 ing verbs. I'm going to say helping, cleaning, and cooking. But you know what? Now that I'm looking back, I do have clean. So I'll say hiding instead. Helping, hiding, cooking. My 4th line is where it becomes a little bit different and where I start to transition. If you notice, 2 of my nouns are going to be about Mama. So I'll say mother and sister. Here is where I'm going to switch to my 2nd topic, which is Uncle Henrik. From here, I kind of have to work backwards for Uncle Henrik, because if you notice, I have to start with 2 nouns. Since I use sister, I think I want to use brother for Uncle Henrik. Brother, and I'll do farmer. Notice that I'm listing with commas as my punctuation. I'm going to reread before I finish Uncle Henrik's section of my Diamante poem. Mama, clean, brave, helping, hiding, cooking. Mother, sister, brother, farmer. Already I know that mother, sister, brother, and farmer don't describe the same person, so it tells my reader that I'm transitioning to a new topic. Now I need 3 verbs with an ing suffix. Here are my 3: fishing, hiding, and leaving. From here I need 2 adjectives. We'll do rough and lonely. And finally, I need my last noun, which was Uncle Henrik, my last topic. Now, if you notice, my poem makes a diamond like the Diamante shape should. And to review, I thought about 2 topics that went together. I thought about adjectives, verbs, and nouns for both of those topics before I started writing. Then I used the outline of a Diamante poem for a rough draft about those 2 topics using the parts of speech that I came up with. Using all of these pieces, try writing your own Diamante about 2 different subjects. Keep in mind how you want to plan, how you want to draft your poem, and that it's okay to write as many drafts as you want. Let us know if you have any questions.